We're talking about cards from Foundations and Foundations Jumpstart. A clown horn literally just rang outside my room. Please tell me you heard that. Where'd that clown horn come from? That's so dope. That's perfect. Oh my God. Did it not get picked up? Oh, that's a shame. It was the like it was the perfect one. I finally lost it. I'm hearing it. It's like the noise from Hereditary. Free roaming clans of Victoria. Oh, the other lure members must be back by now. Want to talk about the Foundations cards. Want to talk about the Jumpstart Foundations cards. Because they are, I mean, there's new cards, but there's also a ton of very important reprints or first time printings for Arena, because the Jumpstart Foundations cards are going to be legal in Gladiator and on Arena. To cover something up front, because there may be some confusion, is that there are cards in Foundations. It's the one with the star here. There are cards in Jumpstart Foundations. It's this one, the double card here. There are also cards added to Foundations there that are part of the Foundation. There's the special guests, and there's also, yes, the starter collection. I believe the starter collection is also going to be legal on Arena, and therefore legal in Gladiator. The starter collection does have a handful of cards that are not legal in Gladiator, and I believe will not be on Arena. I don't believe Soul Ring is coming to Arena, is what I'm trying to say. Because I've seen the Jumpstart Foundations Commander Collection, something, whatever the branding is for it. I don't know it offhand. Soul Ring is confirmed not coming to Arena. Great. That's all I care about. We don't have to pre-ban Soul Ring in Modern Gladiator. Holy shit. Maybe was streaming a good idea? Streaming a good idea. Johnny Mentor of Heroes Planeswalker would be a great commander, and if so, would you make it into a deck? Well, just to be clear, in case you didn't already know, commanders cannot be planeswalkers unless they say otherwise, or if you want to rule zero them or whatever and just have them be your commander. If you don't give a hoot and you want to just have a Johnny as your commander, then yeah, Johnny Mentor of Heroes is dope. You gain 100 life. That's pretty cool. We called that, I don't know why I'm about to tell somebody asking this question, but you're like, hey, we call that card Space Johnny. Or the Second Coming of Space Johnny. Speaking of Space Johnny, and speaking of talking about the cards, the way that I'm going to do this is I am going to go through Wooburg. Because of the variety of cards that have been previewed for different sets, and making sure that we have something that is up to date and coherent. I will be using Mythic Spoiler. I believe everything here, I have it tagged so that's only official spoilers. We don't talk about leaks here or anything like that. We're just talking about official stuff. And we're talking about, again, Foundations and Jumpstart Foundations. I'm going to go Wooburg. I'm not going to talk about everything. I'm just going to talk about things that I think are brand new, or I think will have an impact on a format, or that look cool or whatever. All right. This is going to be the part 1. I'm going to do part 2 on Thursday. So as some stuff trickles out. Okay. Are we all clear? We're all having a good time? Great. Because I want to start talking about one of my favorite planeswalkers of all time. Ooh. What if I do it no. What if I do it this way? That's so small. That's still very small. And I'm big. Who cares about me? I'll put me there. A Johnny Collar of the Pride. This is a reprint. So this is only relevant talking about this being introduced into Gladiator. 1 white for a 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker, a Johnny. +1, put up to 1/1, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. -3, target creature gains flying and double strike until end of turn. -8, create X 2/2 white cat creature tokens, where X is your life total. This Ajani is great, or at least it was. Back in the day, this is the kind of card that you would like to see as a creature played off the back of your mana accelerant. This was a great way of launching this was huge in old Bant Blade decks where like, this is going to really date me here, where like Noble Hierarch into Rock's War Monk into a Johnny. Ooh, you're dead. You're dead. We're done here. Like there's nothing to talk about. Or, you know, just ticking up on your Geist of Saint Traft. Pretty scary. This is no longer that era, but a Johnny is still a 3-mana planeswalker that can act as a flying double strike, kill you dead card, which is pretty scary. Or just getting it down earlier and ticking up your board slowly but surely. I don't think this card will be as widespread as it once was, but I imagine this card will find a home in decks that care about +1/+1 counters, decks that care about playing that you can even maybe get away with this in like a red-white prowess deck, like letting this hit the table, ticking up on your, triggering prowess, obviously, and being able to throw your like big Seeker of the Way or 10th District Legionnaire at them, or just having it tick up and making your Monastery Swiftspear and Soulscar Mage and whatever bigger. Or if you are a deck with double strike creatures, obviously putting these counters on your like Fencing Ace style card is pretty scary. So this card is a threat. It is cheap. It's fine if it's just played, uses the -3 and then just dies to something else, because that's just pushing so much damage. And yeah, it does hit the table early enough that this ult will happen. Like, it's the kind of planeswalker that gets to very high loyalty pretty quickly, hits the table pretty quickly, and the way to beat it is to address the counters that are the creatures that it's ticking up on. And so this card may ultimate more often than you'd think, too. Obviously, don't evaluate planeswalkers based on their ultimate, I say as I look at a Jace the Mind Sculptor on my desk. But yeah, this card's pretty good. I'm excited to play with this card again. All right, now immediately changing my formatting because this card is non-English. Valkyrie's Call. 3 white for an enchantment. It says whenever a non-token, non-angel creature you control dies, return it to its owner's battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. It has flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. Read the German name. Ruf de Valkyr, Valkyrie. Because you pronounce the Ray, right? Valkyrie? Ruf de Valkyrie? Did I get it? Did I do it? Yeah, because the umlaut. So, Valkyrie. Valkyrie. All right, great. This is a very powerful effect, but I don't think this is something that I want to use a slot for. If I want this kind of card, I have access to Luminous Broodmoth, the 4-mana 3/4 flyer from Ikoria, that has a similar kind of like, hey, I hit the table, and if you play a Wrath, the cards are all going to come back. Or if you have like a sack outlet, you can do some shenanigans with that. Obviously, an enchantment is a little less vulnerable than just a 4 toughness creature. But I think we already have something that can do this thing. So I think that we're already kind of good on that. I don't think this is the kind of card that we would want more of, kind of effect that we would necessarily want more of, especially because this version feels like it is less like not that people are jumping over themselves or jumping over each other to get to build a deck that plays like who's the can't get counters placed on them creature. You know, they're not trying to do some like Malira Luminous Broodmoth combo or whatever. Yeah, this is less combo, more value, but also just like less value in a way. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be worth it, I guess is what I'm saying. Oh, wait, no, I was going to do this. Like, Herald of Eternal Dawn. 4 white for a 6/6 angel with flash, flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. It's a platinum angel. It's a platinum angel with a gotcha moment and with a reasonable body. I mean, a 6/6 flyer, that kills the game. That kills people. That does end the game. I don't think that this card is worthwhile, though. I think it's a cool card. It's an aspirational card. It's definitely something where, like, I mean, it's Foundations, right? A newer player is going to look at this and be like, oh my God, I'm going to get my opponent. I'm going to get him. They're going to try to kill me. No, they're not. And boom, I got an angel. And then I can untap and protect my angel. And I'm going to get him. Casually leaving 7 mana open. I don't know. People keep lands in their hands, right? Maybe that's a teaching moment. Just like, hey, do you really need to play that land? You could keep it in your hand and maybe your opponent will play around something. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool card. Great artwork. Incredible artwork. This is I mean, I'm a sucker for this kind of card anyways. Just for, you know, commander purposes and whatnot. I'll get a German foil of this card, I'm sure. It's also a Martina Fakova, so I'm gonna yeah, of course, her signature is great. Neat card. Not playable for us, but neat card. Giada. There's Giada's in this. I didn't really explain what Foundations is. It's like a new core set. It's going to be around for 5 years, I think is what they said. Right? It's going to be standard legal for like 5 years. So there are a lot of card designs in here that are a bit more simplistic. There are some card designs in here that are a bit more straightforward, but that doesn't mean that they are bad. That doesn't mean that they are uninspired or anything like that. I think the set is a banger so far. For what it's worth too, there's a PPR coming up on Friday. Do I have this? I should have a doc. I should have the like. I should have the graphic. Yeah, this will do. The Foundations pre-release is this Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, November 1st, over at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun. I will be there. I will be playing Foundations, playing some limited here. I have been out of the country. I have not seen any of these cards from Foundations outside. Oh my God, look at that A. That's so... Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. I don't know anything about this set, any more about the set than you do, gamers. So I'm so excited because this, to me, this is giving me big vibes. I don't get to do this in content creation, right? Obviously, it's a very privileged position that I'm in, but I don't get to do this. So this has big vibes of like going to the Betrayers of Kamigawa pre-release and not seeing the cards until I open the packs. So I'm very excited for that. Foundations is, yes, it's a core set. It's more like a modern core set, right? Where you have half of it is reprints, half of it are going to be brand new cards, like the M10 and friends. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be around for quite some time. Obviously for Gladiator and Highlander, it's going to be with us forever. But yeah, just wanted to get that clear. Mega core set, sure, why not? Model of Light. 2 white for a 3/3 angel with flying. And whenever you gain life, you put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Whenever you put one or more 1/1 counters on this creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once per turn. I am absolutely going to play this in a Gladiator deck that is probably not winning a tournament, but I bet I could 4-1 with this. This is like a dope card where this is a dope card for like a build around deck, especially if you are on like a Soul Sisters style deck. Vorbild de Licht. Licht is light, right? I mean, no shit, Ben. It's not going to be Vorbild. Model. Yeah, I Exemplar or Paragon feels a bit more accurate. Yeah, it's the kind of card, I mean, it's 4 mana 3/3 without an ETB that dies to bolt, but assuming you're playing this in a deck that is built around playing this kind of card, where you have things that grow bigger due to life gain effects, this card seems like a totally reasonable top end because it does replace itself. And even though this is only once per turn, you know, gaining life on your opponent's turn in this kind of deck is not that out there. This style of deck also tends to play the suite of, you know, Giver of Runes, Dauntless Bodyguard, that style of card to protect your Pride Mates. And this is just whenever you gain life, you get the counter. And then whenever the counter is put on, you draw a card. So it's a thing that works even if you don't have the life gain, you somehow get other counters put onto this card. I think that's neat. Yeah, I really like the design of this card. It's simple, straightforward, really appealing. The ceiling on this is huge, so you get excited about this kind of card. I'm excited about this kind of card. I hope you're excited about this kind of card. I'll play this card. I'll kill Surge with this card. I will absolutely kill Surge with this card. Meth and June back for the 64th month. Shout out to the 4 folks in 3 states that brought Highlander decks to dates on the last Turn Cold tour. Wait, really? Did you jam Highlander on tour? Also, thank you for all the support. Glad to have you. Good to see you. I gotta tell you, it's beautiful seeing how like widespread Highlander is getting nowadays. Just like, oh yeah, I found out that there's a play group in New Mexico. That's dope. And I think they're near the border. I met some Highlander players from Mexico too. That's a community that I haven't communicated with or ran into much of. But they were saying that they got a group in Mexico proper that's playing. That's very exciting to me. Old Mexico. Oh, yeah. All right. So I'm very excited to play this card. Arabo, the First Fang. 2 and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature cat avatar. Other cats you control get +1/+1. And whenever Arabo or another non-token cat you control enters, you create a 1/1 white cat creature token. So I have to play... I have to play cats. Highlander cats. On like a Friday Night Paper Fight again, right? Yeah, it gets around Dark Blast. It's also just a 3 mana 2/2 that brings another 2/2. So 3 mana for 2 for 4/4 worth of stats across a couple bodies that obviously buffs your other stuff. Very into this. Also, making cat tokens means that we are making tokens to work with Ocelot Pride. Not that Ocelot Pride needed help, but you know, it does synergize pretty well with some of the cats that you know and love. And yeah, easy on the mana cost. I don't think when playing this outside of, well, cats, but pretty gross over there. Pretty gross over there. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. Dallas and Houston got the Highlander bug bad. Yeah, I met some Texas Highlander players too. It's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I love hearing this stuff about our little format. Well, I mean, now it's a bigger format, but I don't know. It's wild to think of like the old days of just like, oh, sick, we got 16 people for our tournament. And now there's just thousands of players. Crystal Barricade. 1 and a white for an 0/4 artifact creature wall. With Defender, you have hexproof, and prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. It's nice that you get hexproof, but I don't think this card's going to show up really at all. It doesn't, walls that don't replace themselves or add mana or anything are pretty low. You getting hexproof is cool, but like, if I'm getting that kind of ability, I want to attach to like a True Believer or like Aegis of the Gods or whatever. And even then, those cards don't really see play. Preventing the non-combat damage dealt to other creatures is nice, but white already has a lot of tools to get around that with the protection spells, protection creatures, you know, whatever. Like it's not something that we really need. But I mean, it's an interesting ability. Cool commander card. Had pay 1, sack, draw a card. Ooh, yeah, I'd be into it. Or when it dies, draw a card. I mean, this is classic Magic player. Just like, hey, this card would be good if it drew. Hey, wouldn't this card be good if it drew us a card? It's like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. We did it. We solved Magic design. I know how to fix every card. You either add draw a card or you remove draw a card from it. Day of Judgment's a reprint. Ooh, this one's a new one. Divine Resilience. 1 white for an instant with kicker for 2 and a white. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, any number of target creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. I'm still more of a Brave the Elements fan because Brave the Elements is a great way to push damage. It's a protection spell that also just works well against spot removal, against very common red sweepers, as well as just being able to push damage. So this doesn't exactly fill that role. It is nice that you have just like oh, well, you blocked like that. Okay, this thing's not dying. But again, Brave the Elements kind of does that as well. It's tough. It's tough competition. You know, it's not necessarily a bad card, and the flexibility between playing one and the kicker as well is pretty interesting. It's just between Brave the Elements and the protection creatures that already exist in the cheap white or white X creature decks, and what's its nuts? There's a new one that can see play in Highlander. Eldritch. Is it Eldritch Immunity? What's the Eldritch? I think it's Eldritch Immunity. It's the colorless one. Is kind of similar. Eldritch Immunity. Yeah, the Kindred one. It's yeah, I just think it's tough competition. If you are playing a white weenie, like low curve white aggressive deck in Gladiator, and you feel that you're getting got by Day of Judgment more than you're getting got by Burn Down the House or Anger of the Gods, then like by all means give this one a go. But usually or like, well, I mean, it can stop Pyroclasm too. Like the indestructible can do things that the protection can't. It's just like I mentioned up top, the strength of these decks is that they can be annoying and resilient and then flip to being aggressive like that, you know, at the snap of your fingers, and all of a sudden this Adeline is hitting you for a bajillion amount of damage. This does not really translate into that. Ooh. Cat Collector. 2 and a white for a 3/2 human citizen. When this creature enters, you create a food token.
Eggs. EGGS eggs.
Whenever you gain life for the first time during each of your turns, you create a 1/1 white cat creature token. I'm a bit low on this one. I thought about this card for Bant game objects. I thought about playing this card in like the food fight decks, but a couple things going wrong with this. One, it only says gaining life on your turn. And so being able to gain life on your opponent's turn.
Will sing the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see?
Ahoy, Voxy. How you doing? How you been? Glad to have you. Good to see you. I hope you enjoyed my cosplay of you at MagicCon Vegas. Thank you for the raid. I hope you had a good stream. And I hope you had a great rest of your weekend. Great rest of your weekend at MagicCon Vegas. We're talking Foundations cards. We finally started the set review part of the stream 2 hours in. Corland back for the 53rd month. I love construction, Rathew. Thank you. It's Rathew is making sure that the foundation is stable. I don't know. It's cute. Silent Soul did ask the Discord, so like, what should I do with Rathew for foundations? And it's like, so I think who suggested this? Somebody suggested hard hat and vest, and it's cute. Rathew looks like he's in the he's in the Village People. He's the non-racist one in the Village People. Incredible. Well, he always was in the Village People. He was just very small and in the background. It's really hard to see him. Anyways, the Cat Collectors, it's a card I want to like, but not being able to create tokens on your opponent's turn for life gain, I get why they wouldn't want you to do that, because it's like, well, I'm going to attack with a bunch of things. It's like, okay, well, first off, I'm going to eat this food, which is going to invalidate the damage from some amount of the people you are attacking me with. And then also I make a 1/1 cat that'll then invalidate the rest of it. And that's not great gameplay. But obviously for us, absolute sickos, that's going to be a deal breaker. The other one is that it has 2 toughness. 3 mana, 2 toughness creature that does have an ETB, but an ETB that just makes a food. Like you would need to have gained additional life to get the 1/1 to come with it. It's just, there's too much going against this card that I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to say no. Hope you enjoy the Rusco. Thank you, RJC. Thank you so much for helping out the arduous task of finding all these Misty Boosty cards, the arena, or what's the terminology used for them? Arena brought to life. I'm excited to teach all these gamers the alchemy brought to life. Yeah, I'm excited to show the folks that don't play with a lot of alchemy cards just how fun alchemy can be. Oh, all right. I don't know what this card does or what it is, but this art's great, and it's a 6 mana 1/1. If I had to guess, it makes tokens. Like it must make some knights or whatever. Does it make 2? Is it 6 mana 1/1 make 2 3/3s? Banger. Wow, banger. Guarded Air. 5 and a white for a 1. I like that it has lifelink. 5 and a white for a 1/1 human noble with lifelink. When it ETBs, you make 2 3/3 white knight creature tokens. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I know what card I hope to open in my what card I hope to open in my limited deck. My PPR sealed pool. Damn. 3 bodies on 1 card? What is this? Kamigawa Neon Dynasty All-Star Imperial Oath? It's Imperial Oath, right? My decks were too fast to play that card, but or my preferred decks in that format were a bit too fast to play that card. This card rules. Not going to be competitive play. Nice to blink. You can bring it back off Vesper Lark, which is worth mentioning. Anytime you have a big Big mana value, low power and toughness. I mean, Vesperlarking this or Revelarking this is kind of hot. Now, how do we get into our graveyard? That's another question. But very cool, very cool. Stroke of Midnight. Ooh. Oh, this card I saw. I like this one. Sun Consecrated Healer. 1 and a white for a 3/1 human cleric with lifelink and kicker for 1 and a white. When Sun Consecrated Healer enters, if kick was paid, return target non-land permanent mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to play. I'm a sucker for these kind of cards. I was pretty high on Phyrexian Missionary in the Black-White Ruin Your Evening decks when Dominaria United came out. I had to think about that set name. You can play this off Lurrus. That's the big one. You can play it off Lurrus with kicker, and you just start bringing stuff back. A 3/1 trades really well on blocks. If you're playing this in a deck with Lurrus or with protection cards, then like blocking this can be a little annoying. Gaining 3 is a lot of life to gain. I'm higher on this, I think, than most people will be. I don't think it's like a slam dunk in everything, but I could see this card. I could see this card in Gladiator and maybe even Canadian Highlander. Honestly, it being a human, like a 4-mana 3/1 that brings back your Thalia or your Strip or your like Thalia's Lieutenant. Get your Skull Clamp back. Get your Urza Saga back. Oh, it's non-land permanent. Never mind, I'm off it. I mean, I'm not entirely off it, but I'm less into it. I still think it'll see play. Just wish it could return a land. Claws Out. Is that what it's called? I swear to God, I saw the English version of this card and it wasn't called this. Is this a White Claw joke? Anyways, 3 white for an instant. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each cat you control. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. I got to imagine this card's going to kill people. Like, I don't think this is going to be worth it in any of the formats we're talking about here. But like, white, like cats make tokens, and there are a lot of token cats running around. Instant speed white give +2/+2. That's kind of busted. There's what was the Rivals one called? I got a lot of ticks off that card. The is it Conqueror's Blessing? I think it's Conqueror's Blessing. Nope. It's not. Pride of the Conquerors. Oh yeah, I played this card in Standard. Pretty sure. Yeah, I won a PTQ with this card in that bad Black-White Vampires deck. The 1 and a white Ascend, creatures you control get +1/+1. If you have the City's Blessing, they get +2/+2 instead. Yeah, this like that 2 mana +2/+2 to everything, that kills people dead. That kills people dead. Not for our formats. Oh, whoa. Angel Finality got a reprint. Tiny. Oh, hi, streamer. I was the person whose playmat you drew top. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, too. Very cool playmat idea. Jadaris in chat had a playmat with sectioned off squares where folks would draw their favorite card and then sign it off. And it was very interesting to try and guess who, like, you know, what did Voxy draw? I'll give you a hint what Shivam drew. It was a 1-mana artifact. I mean, I also drew a 1-mana artifact. I tried to go the extra mile. I tried to go the extra mile. I did coloring. Actually, Jadaris, if you have a photo of your mat, I would love to show it off on stream. I know that's a big ask, but if you have it, that'd be great.
Let the sun shine upon this Lord of Cinder.
Oh, thank you, RJC. Back for the 2nd month. Here you go. Thank you so much. Congratulations on... hey, congrats. Just congrats, you know. Angel of Finality. This is a reprint from, I want to say Commander 2020 or 2013. 3 and a white for a 3/4 angel with flying. When it ETBs, exile target player's graveyard. We have endurance, and so we have a piece of graveyard hate for like the blink decks. That said, this is a scarier body. Like a 3/4 flyer just kills people, right? And exile is pretty important as we get more combo pieces, or like engine pieces. Like just putting them back into the deck, like they could find them. They can find them again. Exile, just get it out. Just I'm done. So not a huge, like not a card that'll see widespread play, but it's something to consider when you're building a blink deck if you want to have this card as another graveyard hate option. Oh, I'm so excited for this. There's not much. It's Savannah Lions. I'm not gonna. I mean, yeah, I am. Who am I kidding? Savannah Lions is on Arena. It's about time. Love Savannah Lions. Big Savannah Lions fan. I don't think it's going to see that much play or any play, but well, hold on, because I think the thing about Savannah Lions and Savannah Lions analogs is that they're not great unless you can consistently play them on turn 1. And even then they're a little awkward. But if you can consistently have turn 1 Savannah Lions into like turn 2 double spelling, that is something that is worth exploring. And so between this printing and the printing of the once we eventually get the Pioneer Masters to get Expedition Envoy, like I could see these cards showing up, right? Like turn 1 drop into turn 2 1 drop is pretty gross. Like that is a lot of pressure. It's not it's not the best thing in the world, and obviously like Ocelot Pride's pretty good against this. Like them playing in a Johnny into this is kind of miserable. But it's something that Gladiator hasn't really gotten to explore that much. And I'm excited for it to be something that you could look into, Even if it's not the best, there are certain things that I would like. I'm always interested in having them available as options for players to explore. Ooh, love the Greg Staples Sarah Angel art. I mean, I like the original too, but you give Greg Staples an angel and he's gonna make it look good. Ooh, new Johnny Pride made art. Prideful Parent. Hey, this makes a cat. I might play this in cats. This card is very good. Helpful Hunter. It's so funny how good Elvish Visionary is in white. Because this is just Spirited Companion with a different creature type. And that's great. Yeah, that's great. Is this the second cat that does this? Yeah, Generous something or other. The 1 or 2 and a green for a 1/2 from Guilds of Ravnica. Yeah. Not an enchantment. That's relevant. It will get killed by X-Size. The creature type is worse? What? Nobody's playing Pack Leader. Yeah. I'm excited to have more of these. This is like such a good placement for Elvish Visionaries too. Love having them in white. Yeah, not much to say. Great card. Oh, compared to Elf. Yeah, that's true. But like the color is the big thing here. Ignition Point. Welcome back for the 11th month. I'm going to shrink wrap you just a bit. He got a little scared when a cat came up on screen. Hey Wheeler, it was great seeing you at CubeCon and jamming some Canlander. Yes. Thank you for the games. Glad to have you. Good to see you. And thank you for all the support. All right, we have the dope playmat here. Oh, how do I rotate? Is this rotate or is this forward? This is forward. Hold on. We can do this. We have the technology. This is very important to me. Okay. This is a great little segue. Okay, so some people wrote down... Wait. Why did people write down what their things are? So this is crop rotation. I don't actually know. If somebody knows who the signature is from, that'd be cool. This is crop rotation. This is Dargo. I assume this is just in Soul Artifact because they're scissors. Sublime Epiphany. Oh, this is Hayu. Good choice. Good choice. Sublime Epiphany. Very, very into that. An energy token. Doomsday. This kind of looks like Go Nagai. I mean, it's the Junji Ito Doomsday, but this gives big Go Nagai vibes. Deflecting Palm. It's by George. Is this Frog Prophet or Flubs? No, Alexander the Fine, we're still doing the thing. Don't you worry. We're still doing the set review. We're just taking a quick break because I want to break down this playmat. Is this Flubs or Frog Prophet? Oh yeah, the Dargo makes sense if they're all from the Spike Feeders. This is the Omen Keel. I'm cheating a bit. This is the Omen Keel by Olivia. This is my Sensei's Divining Top. I tried to not make this look like a nipple. I think I kind of... Oh, right. It was Dana Fisher. It was the Frog Nissa. Yes, I remember you saying that. I like my top. I kind of wish I had... I kind of wish I was just a better artist. It's not that nipply. It's kind of nipply. This is Ben Ulmer's Thermo Alchemist. This is Surge's Hedron Crab. Shivam doing Soul Ring. I assume this is Graham's Forest. This is Forest Bear from Portal 3 Kingdoms. This is Kathleen doing... Is this Deadly Rollick? Or is this Hex? It's Hex. It's Hex with the Judith flavor text, right? I think so. What? What the hell is this? This is just the meme of the soldier blocking all the fiery bullets and arrows against a child. Oh, there's five here? Yeah. But I guess the hand over here is the 6th. Is this Lingering Souls? This is James, right? It's probably Lingering Souls. This ghost isn't nearly busty enough. Spider spawning? This one's a bit of a cheat. Nelly. What the hell is this? Is this Panglacial Worm? Nelson loves Panglacial Worm. I think this is Panglacial Worm because of the mountains in the back. Okay. I assume this is Prodigal Sorcerer because it's just kind of chilling. This is Zed from League of Legends. Slippery Bogle. I actually don't know who this is. I don't know who this is, but this is Slippery Bogle. I believe this is Noah's Ark. This is Treasure Cruise. I mean, I assume this is Crawl, like Jumpstart Crawl. And then Rampaging Ferocidon. This is his Jace? Oh, Okay, hold on. I didn't recognize... I didn't see the eyes. I didn't see the eyes. I thought that this was like a whole mask. You could see what I... Yeah. Mr. Bibbs knows what's up. I didn't see... Wait, don't do that. I didn't see this as his face. Huh. All right, this is enough of this. Very cool, very cool. Thank you for sharing. That's it for the white card, mono white cards previewed for Foundations. But now we're going into Foundations Jumpstart. Again, if you're joining us halfway, the cards from Foundations Jumpstart are going to be legal for Gladiator and available on MTG Arena. Oh, I should have... This isn't my usual setup, so I'm a little out of practice here. Thurid, Mare of Destiny, 2 white for a 2/4 legendary creature Pegasus. Flying, lifelink. Whenever you cast a Pegasus, Unicorn, or Horse creature spell, copy it. Other Pegasi, Unicorns, and Horses you control get +1/+1. So I'm going to have to build a Horse Commander deck, right? I'm just going to have to build a Horse Commander deck. I've been meaning to build a Horse Commander deck for a long time. I know Rachel has one. I don't want to play with My Little Pony cards. No shade to that, just not my preference. And this is one that'll do it. This is one that'll do it. I like Jumpstart, obviously not playable in the formats we're talking about, but I like Jumpstart as a vehicle for more niche typal commanders or more niche strategies that they don't they don't want to put them in like a side product or what. I mean, this is a side product, but you know what I mean. Like this is the place to do it. We can use Bill the Pony as a commander. I mean, we could just use Thurid as a commander with Bill the Pony. Hell yeah. Everybody who's excited to go 3-2 in a weekly event with mono white, your prayers are answered. We got Brimhaz. Easily one of the worst cards that has the most fans. 1 white for a 3/4 legendary cat soldier with vigilance. Whenever Brimhaz attacks, you make a 1/1 cat soldier token with vigilance that's attacking. And whenever Brimhaz blocks, you create a 1/1 white cat soldier creature token with vigilance that's blocking that creature. Now, for Gladiator, Brimhaz might actually see some play, right? Like, it could show up. It's a legend that makes additional bodies. It's great when you can protect it. There's no Caracas running around. Like, Brimhaz, if unchecked, can take over a game. It does need a little help. And I think that you can find it in like a red-white go-wide style deck or in a mono-white deck with more like token generation. It's like a totally reasonable card to play and try to protect and take over the game. Don't expect this card to be Adeline, because Adeline, Brimhaz wishes that he was Adeline. But a great card, a great addition nonetheless. I mean, Lord knows that I was casting Brimhaz off of Moxen for a long time in Jeskai midrange. Brimhaz with Time Walk, also very nice. All right, this card rules. This card is genuinely scary, I think. Oh, no, I'm thinking of the other dog. Generous Pup. 1 white for a 2/2 dog with vigilance. Whenever one or more counters are put on Generous Pup, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. This ability triggers only once per turn. Still a pretty reasonable card to play in a green-white counters deck or a green-white X counters deck. It kind of has this like Dusk Legion Zealot Dust Legion Zealot. Dust Legion Lieutenant. Legionnaire. Dust Legion Legionnaire. Just Dusk Legion. What the hell is this card called? Dusk Legion Duelist. There we go. You'll have to excuse me. I've been working Magic events for the past 2 weeks. It kind of fills a similar role where it's a 2-drop in white with Vigilance. So that all checks. And then just says like, hey, I'm not going to do anything with counters. You got to put the counters on me. But when you do, I'm going to do something cool. And instead of drawing a card, it's buffing other things, which is pretty nice. Like that, it means that this card doesn't go as tall as Dusk Legion Duelist, which the Duelist goes tall and restocks your hand so that you don't feel as bad when somebody finally just like decides to terror your creature or whatever. But ¿Por qué no los dos? Like this card can go wild, right? Like put a counter on this thing, a Hydra triggers that says, hey, you put a counter on something, I'm going to get a counter. And then it puts counters on everything. And then it goes, hey, I saw counters put on these things, so I'm going to get more counters. Or like just double cards that double counters, right? Like that's wild. This can be very scary. Especially because one of the things that the counters decks can run into that are awkward is if it has a draw with a bunch of like mana acceleration, mana dorks that just like, you got these 1/1s that just don't do anything, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of in a slot where you only get so many style of card, like so many cards in that style. But I do think that this one plays pretty well, and I think you'd be willing to make the an exception. Adeline. Brigone. I hope I'm pronouncing this name right. Brigone, Soldier of Miletus. 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary human soldier with vigilance and heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Brigone, put a 1/1 counter on Brigone. Tap, remove a 1/1 counter from Brigone, draw a card. I'm into it. I mean, I love a good Defiant Strike deck. Red-white prowess. You could just play this in white-green counters like we talked about before. Maybe in a version with more protective spells, you know, your Snakeskin Veils and Blossoming Defenses, that kind of card. Very cool. Yeah, just very cool card. That's it. It's a human. That's relevant. You know, Thalia's lieutenant and a soldier, actually. There are quite a few soldiers that care about +1/+1 counters. Less so on on Arena and for Gladiator, but for Canlander. I mean, Soldiers has been one of those typo decks that I have been, you know, saying like, hey, we're like a couple good 2-drops away from a Soldiers list being a real deal, like, deck list that you can play. Like, I'm not kidding. Now I want to do like, let's look at this. I mean, Champion of the Parish, Soldier, also a human, but there's going to be a lot of humans in there. Sends Tactician, Soldier with a pretty, like, this is kind of a goofy one. Maybe you're not as high on this, but like this card does get out of hand. 1 mana 1/1 that can just start putting counters on itself or on other things. And each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it can block an additional creature. Pretty good, especially considering like, oh, would you look at that? That's a soldier that cares about +1/+1 counters. Esper Sentinel, obviously getting this card's power up and up and up. Pretty good. The Law Keepers, or I guess Gold Meadow Harrier is the original 1 mana 1 that does this. Cards are totally undervalued. These cards are so oppressive if they are left unchecked. And honestly, not that bad in a world with the initiative, for what it's worth. Kithian, obviously pretty powerful magic card. Recruitment Officer, pretty powerful magic card. Soldier of the Pantheon, Sky Marcher, not as exciting, but reasonable. Thraben Inspector happens to be a soldier. Warden of the Inner Sky, pretty great. like the card quality for soldiers is there, right? And if you manage to like play a list, Cathar Commando, there's so many more. Guardian of New Benalia is not bad. I mean, you can go into blue and play Harbin, right? Yeah, there are some non-white soldiers that are pretty good. Like, you'd probably be a soldier / human kind of build. You can have non like humans in there. Like, you could play Pippin in blue-white. Resolute reinforcements, 2 soldiers, not bad. Ooh, play Rory Williams, Aether Violet into play. Not bad. Sun Gold Sentinel. Obviously Thalia and the Lieutenant. You get Valiant Veteran. Yeah. Soldiers is something I've been keeping my eye on. As like a, you know, any new cheap soldier I will take. Yeah, Lavinia. Underrated Magic card. Not played nearly enough in Canadian Highlander. Need to take note from the vintage players. She's pretty good. Eidolon of Astral Winds. 2/0 white for a 2/4 enchantment creature spirit with vigilance and constellation. Whenever Eidolon of Astral Winds or another enchantment you control enters, choose target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature has base power and toughness 4/4 and gains flying. I could see this being played in Sanctum Stompy, or as I like to call it, Bestow Beatdown. That's just a deck that'll take any reasonable enchantment creature, as well as like being able to jump your cards. Pretty nice, right? Being able to jump whatever card is holding on to auras. Because if you're just in green-white, your way of pushing damage either relies on cards like Rancor or Audacity. Rancor not on Arena. Or, I guess, Griff's Boon. Or like Spirit Mantle style cards. Like you're trying to go bigger with Trample, right? That's the way that you're looking to do it. Flying is a more direct way of killing people. So yeah, excited to play this in Bestow Beatdown or Enchantments deck, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. Speaker of the Heavens reprint. Love this artwork. Love all the Ixalan artwork that we're getting for this set. I will not comment on the anime artwork until the whole thing is out, because I'm in a very good mood. It's not my jam. If it's your jam, great. But I have thoughts. I have thoughts that aren't just anime bad. But I have thoughts. Samila Miletian or Miletian. I mean, I want to say Miletian, but should I go hard T? Poet. 2 and a white for a 1/1 legendary creature human bard. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, create a 2/2 white nymph enchantment creature token. I mean, I've always said Miletian, but now I'm like, am I doing that right? At the beginning of each combat, if you control 5 or more enchantments, Samila, gets +4/+4 and gains lifelink until end of turn. This is a powerful ability. I think it's a bit too weak in that it's a 3-mana 1/1. It's easy to respond to the combat trigger to kill. First enchantment, obviously, if this is just like unbound, then we have Archon of Sun's Grace or whatever. And that card's a house. I think it's a little soft, but it's a pretty neat build around. I don't know. I like these uncommon commanders as well. I think they're interesting. Some of them are worthy for Gladiator and for Highlander, and some of them are not, but I like the design surrounding them. Like, getting up to 5 enchantments is not that tough. It's just a 3-mana 1/1 without an ETB or whatever. A little awkward. Kala, a Johnny's Pride Mate, 3 and a white for a 3/3 cat warrior. Whenever Kala attacks, other attacking creatures you control get +X/+O, where X is number of counters on Kala. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Kala, and pay 3 and a white, you gain 1 life. If you're looking for a mono white, a Johnny's Pride Mate commander, this is your one. Karlov is my preferred a Johnny's Pride Mate commander. Listen to the Sheeman Wheeler Love bonuses where we talk about Lurrus, and you'll find why. Obviously, being a 4-mana. Whoa, why did my cursor just get so slow? What the hell? Did I like accidentally hit like a factory setting or something? I don't know what happened. Great. Yeah, it's a bit too expensive for 1v1 play. And I personally have a Johnny's Pride Mate .deck commander that is not this. But if you want a more budget option or a cheaper option with a cool activate ability, 4-mana gain 1 life is kind of funny. I mean, it's gain 1 life, put a counter on this, but yeah. Calls a cool card. I'm okay. Again, uncommon legends. Cool. Sure, why not? Dawnwing Marshal, 1 and a white for a 2/2 cat soldier with flying. Guess I should open this. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn for 4 and a white. Cool mana sink. Cool mana sink. I mean, it's a Leonin Skyhunter. Don't we have Leonin Skyhunter? Like, Leonin Skyhunter is in Foundations. Or it's in... Yeah, Skyhunter's in Foundations, but I think it's in the starter kit, which is another 2-mana 2/2 cat soldier. Or it's Cat Knight. Skyhunter's a Cat Knight with classic Kev Walker art. Redundancy. Are you telling... Oh, this isn't standard legal, right? You can't have 4 Leonin Skyhunters. Who knows? Maybe mono white skies is worth a look, or like a very aggressive white weenie style deck could play these evasive 2-drops. I don't want to just like say no to them. Like 2-power flyers kill people. They kill people pretty quickly. Worth keeping an eye on. Erdnon Dramoka Warrior. When Erdnon enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature with a 1/1 counter on it gains first strike. If that creature has 2 or more counters on it, it gains double strike instead. That's kind of an interesting ability, but it doesn't really solve the issue that counters has, again, and that's pushing the damage. Like, oh, my 10/10 is now a... my 10/10 is now a 10/10 double striker. It's like, well, you're still getting chump blocked, which is not great. Oh, Dawnwing Marshal is in the starter collection. Let me wrap up this. Also, hi Carmen, how are you? Thank you for the shout out, by the way. We watched it earlier. I'm glad that there was a series of. I'm glad that the Foundations, especially for the starter collection, not to steal something from Marie Kondo, is full of cards that spark joy. I know that. I don't know if you listened to the bonus episode. Oh no, this was Darksteel. It was the mainline episode. But before it was even previewed.
Another one. Gives me conniptions.
Before it was even previewed, I went on a huge tangent in our Darksteel episode about how cool Darksteel Colossus is and how important Darksteel Colossus is. In that that's the card that gets people hooked, and I am so excited to see it in this set, because that is like that will change the brain chemistry of somebody out there, where they're like, oh, this is all I want to do. All I want to do is try to get this big lunk into play And then they're just going to find Smuggler's Surprise or whatever. And they're like, ooh, okay, that's pretty good. Oh, can you send me that picture? Can you send me those pictures? Please and thank you. Aboria, thank you for gifting a sub to Carmen. That's very kind of you. I told a little story in the Foundation's debut, but Dark Steel Colossus was legit the thing that got me hooked. Saw someone had the LGS and my jaw was on the floor. It was such a big... When that was... when Tooth and Nail and Type 2 was playing Colossus, it was like such a level up moment to be like, oh, well, is there a deck based around playing this? And then getting told at the shop, like, yeah, it's actually one of the best decks in the format. You know? Or like one of the best non-affinity decks in the format. And I mean, one of the best things you could do in block, certainly, that wasn't affinity. It was dope. It was dope. Big moment. I think I even said in the episode where I'm like, I love the fact that, yeah, you could do like Mephidros Triskelion, you could get like a Boonus Platinum Angel, but just like the fact that one of the best decks in that environment, post-ban, was get 2 Darksteel Colossus, good luck, have fun. That's something. Oh, thank you. These are some reprints. Love this Mentor of the Meek artwork. Just teaching the gnomes. I like this Banishing Light artwork as well. The Celestial Unicorn. I gotta tell you, I haven't been this... I mean, this card was made for me. I'll take any new rabbits, good or bad. I think that's well known by now. But we have a Rabbit Soul Warden. Hinterland Sanctifier. 1 mana for a 1/2 Rabbit Cleric. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Love the rabbit. I mean, it's another 1 mana Soul Warden. It is one-sided, but that's okay. The 1/2 is huge. That's doing some big work. I mean, we have Guide of Souls. Guide of Souls is the best Soul Warden of all time. It's a Soul Warden that transcends Soul Wardens, right? And part of that, not just the fact that it makes energy and also turns things into angels. That's a very large part of it. But the 1/2, ooh, have you tried getting through a 1/2? I think it was it CubeCon? It was at CubeCon. I was talking. No, it wasn't CubeCon. It was at Vegas in a cube draft where people were talking about, somebody had a black-white deck and a low curve, no power kind of legacy cube. And they were not playing Thraben Inspector. And I remember having this moment with somebody. I didn't know these people, but I had this moment with them where I'm like, oh yeah, you play that Thraben Inspector. It's a 1/2. How are you ever getting through a 1 mana 1/2? Yeah, I'm going to play this in the Soul Sisters version of Ruin Your Evening. I'm going to play this in the Soul Sisters like aggressive style decks, which have gotten so many new cards. I'm interested in trying to bring one out on a Friday night paper fight or a North 100 showdown. And it's just a rabbit. It's a new rabbit for my rabbit collection. So I'll take it. This is an immediate German foil acquisition. I'm going to need to do this immediately. Don't skip the grub. Oh no, I'm going Woober. I'll talk about this grub. Don't you worry. I mentioned this grub. I'll mention this grub. I mentioned this grub in the Uber on the way to the airport yesterday. I saw this grub and I went, ooh, damn. Because I've been on something of a aristocrats kick in Cube. I don't know why. I've been really aggressively picking sack outlets in Cube, and I'm just so into it. Woo! Oh hell yeah! Condemn. All right, so this is one of the special guests for Foundation. 1 white instant. Put target attacking creature on the bottom of its owner's library. Its controller gains life equal to its toughness. The kids don't know. Condemn is legitimately great. It is legitimately great. Like, obviously, the whole, like, oh, I can't hit their utility creature or whatever. Like, yeah, that's not, whatever. That's fine. That's why we have swords and path. When you have condemn, it means that you get to use your interaction differently. You get to be like, well, I don't need to swords the questing beast. I can condemn the questing beast and save the swords for something else, right? Save the swords for their fauna shaman or whatever. This card is a legit heater. I highly recommend playing this. It's less of a aggressive card, but it's not even that bad in aggressive decks. It's not that bad in aggressive decks, but it is certainly more of a controlling card or like a slower white X mid-range. Like typically like a blue-white mid-range could play this card too, but I'm so stoked for this in blue-white control. Honestly, condemn in blue-white control in Canlander, underrated. This card, if you are playing blue-white in Canlander and not on condemn, you should be on condemn. It's just so good. It's so good at what it does. Wandering Omen, back for the 55th month. How you doing? How you been? You are legitimately great. Oh, stop it, you. Thank you for the kind words. And thank you so much for all the support. That's a long ass time. Jesus Christ, aw ship. Aw ship for the 67th month. That's so long. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for everything. 67 months? Oh my God. Is my stream literally old enough that it could scream at me for the iPad to play Fortnite? That is wild. Or Minecraft, I guess. That is wild. These are showcase cards. Oh, I didn't even see these. Whoa. Okay. All right. Now might be the time for the anime conversation. Old enough to sing. No, wait, we have the starter collection. Ooh, I love the fact that there's Lyra. I love the Lyra in standard for 5 years. I mean, Lyra is one of my favorite creatures of all time. I literally started the stream by gushing about how much I love Baneslayer Angels. Actually, now, after this weekend, I have every Baneslayer Angel, except for Exalted Angel, which I'll include in this category, in German foil. I still need a German foil Exalted Angel. That is like that's a bit of a white whale, but you know, ooh. Devout Decree, we already have. Disenchant, we already have. I think that's it for white. Let's use this. I want to get this anime discussion out of the way. So, very quickly, I have gotten to the point where I don't really care about the specific artwork style for cards. It's just not. It's there between the secret layers, between special guest things. It's going to happen. People like it. It's a thing that draws people into the game. It's a thing that gets people excited about the collecting part of the game, which cool. I collect German foils and signed cards. Other people collect weirdo fancy anime cards. My thing about this is that there's so much, there's such a drastic shift in quality from one anime card to another. Like I like the Herald of Eternal Dawn. The Think Twice art is even cool. This Bloodthirsty Conqueror, right? The Progenitus, like these are at least a little more diverse in their style. I mean, saying anime is such a nothing thing, right? It's like the Kaido Itoku coming back for a Magic card. Let's go. saying anime is just a generalized style is a bit of a pet peeve of mine, even though I obviously just did it there. Because there's just so many different ways to do it. There's so many different ways to do it. And for some of these cards, they get away with that. But a lot of them just feel very flat to me in the main set. Like this style is just very flat. It's not very exciting to me. But it's not for every single one of them. Like Danitha is great because there's, shading. There's contrasting colors. It's very interesting. Some of them feel a bit too gotcha game ad insert for me. And it's not my jam. And it feels a little odd to be to pop up in something like Foundations, honestly. Although I guess it's more for the jumpstart than that. But yeah, I don't want to make a big thing about it. Some of it I actually like. Some of it I'm a little like, I kind of just wish it was more. I wish that it's the same gripe I just have with like North American anime trends, is that people gravitate to whatever is most accessible or available, which is going to typically be shonen. And I'm not a huge fan of that because there's just so much out there in art styles and storytelling styles and genres, in like, showing a teenager from Ohio a josei manga and they just fucking, their heart stops, right? Like I want that to, I want the North American anime or manga anime watching and manga reading audience to really explore everything that the mediums have to offer, and the same can go for the art styles that like by Japanese artists. I wish they were a bit more diverse and a little less we technically have the rights to Dragon Ball and so here's female Goku. That might be a bit of a niche bit. But anyways, moving on. Good idea to do a big set review stream right after a con weekend, after 2 con weekends where I've already been shouting through a mask for the past 2 weeks. Kaido, Cunning Infiltrator. New blue Planeswalker. 1 blue for a 3 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Kaido. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a loyalty counter on Kaido. +1, up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Draw a card, then discard a card. -2, create a 2/1 blue ninja creature token. And -9, you get an emblem with whenever a player casts a spell, you create a 2/1 blue ninja creature token. I haven't had a good read on this card. It gives me big Dovin from Ravnica Allegiance vibes. I played that bad deck. The Grand Arbiter. I played this. What deck was this? I played this deck in Standard. There was like a Dovin deck for a while. Where you just... It's a 3-drop that has a way of putting on additional loyalty counters, and then it gets big, and you got to pay off. This payoff is a little less. I mean, this payoff is a little more exciting. Anyways, I'm stuck on this card because it's reasonable to see a play pattern where this card is paired with cheap evasive creatures and is played on curve and ticked up. And then all of a sudden you have a 6 loyalty Planeswalker that is threatening to then go up to 8 the very next turn. Or you just play this on a board that is relatively unchecked and you make a 2/1. And then you start looting and smashing in for more damage, right? Or, I don't know, you just like play this, -2, hit them, it goes back to 3 loyalty, and then you just keep pooping out free 2/1s, which is pretty nice. I imagine I'm going to try playing this card in a Flying Men style deck, or in a blue, mono blue or blue X, like heavy evasion deck. 2/1s are annoying. They pressure planeswalkers nicely, and they're not nothing. I think we've all seen this with a Johnny Nicodle Pariah, where you're like, wow, I hate this 2/1 that I can't kill profitably. And so that's kind of appealing. This emblem is also pretty good, but we're not here to evaluate it based on the emblem. Being able to just push damage and loot, pretty nice. Being able to repeatedly make tokens, pretty nice. The fact that this doesn't really do much when you're like behind on board is a little bit of a pisser, which is already a weakness in these decks that are looking to play a bunch of cheap 1 mana, 2 mana evasive creatures. And so is this what we're looking for from our 3-drop? Like the 3-drops that typically see play in these decks are going to be Tempest Djinn, or like Vendilion Clique, Brazen Borrower, you know, cards that have Abhorrent Oculus now, cards that are like, hey, I know everything else I'm playing sucks, but check this out. And then you just play this thing that is really annoying or really powerful. True Name Nemesis. And a feature that a lot of these cards have that I'm mentioning is that they can be very good on the defense, right? Vendilion Clique comes down and then gives you information for how to proceed with your next turn, when normally you're asking yourself, like, am I going to leave up mana to counter something or disrupt something, or am I playing to the board? Do I have a chance to use my cantrips to help develop my mana base or whatever? Brazen Borrower is able to bounce something, and then you can cash in the 3/1 that just kind of looms there off in the corner. Oculus and True Name, great on defense, but also really threatening amount of pressure. You a Tempest Djinn as well, like very annoying for decks to attack into, and then all of a sudden you're taking 7 in the air or taking 5 in the air or whatever. I just don't know if this competes. I'd be willing to be wrong. I'd be willing to try it out. But yeah, I'm a little suspect on this one. Thankfully, it does, where it will show up, if it does show up, is in a style of deck that I really enjoy playing. And I feel like I can play it pretty well. You know? Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Did I come around on Oculus? I mean, I liked Oculus in a deck that could really facilitate it, even though it ends up fighting with what you're trying to, set up. I'm still not super high on it. I think we're now in the stage of people overplaying it because they're like, oh, Oculus is absurd. I've seen it pop up in Modern. And it's like, okay, but you get 4 of those, and you get Thought Scours and Unearths and Psychic Frogs. Like, you can set up lines of Psychic Frog, discard, Unearth much easier than you could in Singleton. And like the cards that Oculus competes with in Modern when it comes to cards in your graveyard are not as good as Treasure Cruise. Like you get, I don't even think that deck's playing Murktide Regent, the Oculus deck in Modern. But anyways. Sphinx of Forgotten Lore. 2 and 2 blue for a 3/3 Sphinx with flash and flying. Whenever this creature attacks, target instant or sorcery in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to the card's mana cost. 4 mana is a lot of mana for nothing on ETB. Being able to flash it in while holding up protection, pretty nice. Flying means that you can hold up mana, and if they get the initiative or whatever, then boom, you've got a Sphinx, and you can do some stuff. Flashback on a spell, pretty broken, right? Like casting your Ancestral Recall, your Time Walk again, pretty good. Casting a Lightning Bolt again, also pretty good. I am not super high on this card just because of its stat line to mana cost. I feel like there are better like Subtlety doesn't see nearly enough play in Canadian Highlander. And I would just rather play Subtlety if I'm going to add a 4-drop, excuse me, to my deck. Obviously, this card's pretty good if you can protect it with free spells, or hand attack. Like if you clear the way with hand attack and then you get this down on the turn, you can start ripping off spells again. That's kind of nice. But then I'm struggling to find a world where you want this card for that kind of thing, and you wouldn't just be able to play Kess or whatever. Pretty cool card. I imagine we'll see a little bit of play. I'm willing to test it. It's certainly better in Gladiator. I've just been looking at this card and evaluating it for Highlander. Much better in Gladiator, and I'd be willing to give this a shot in more Gladiator decks for sure. But no go for Highlander. Gladiator, yeah, sure, why not? There's just less stuff running around that can. Well, there's more sorcery speed removal, I guess is what I'm going to say. We have Omniscience. Extravagant Replication is this is a reprint from Streets of New Capenna Commander. I don't know if I'm ever playing this card, so I'm going to skip it. This was useless. Destiny Steward. 4 blue for a Sphinx that's a 5/5 with flying. The spell can't be countered, and when you ETB, Factor Fiction. But you Factor Fiction. Oh, your opponent gets the choice? Oh, this is kind of interesting. Wait, is this Steam Augury? Every time I see a Factor Fiction that's not a Factor Fiction, my brain says, oh, this is just Steam Augury. And then, but I think I've just gone a decade without reading Steam Augury. Reveal the top 5, separate them into 2 piles, and opponent chooses them. Reveal the top 5, separate it into one. Oh, one's face up, one's face down. Ooh. I mean, it's still 6 mana. I'm not going to play this card, but I'm just going to play Dream Trawler. But I got to admit, maybe I'll play this in Gladiator Blue Moon. I do love I really like a Factor Fiction card. Kind of just wish they would give us Factor Fiction. Obviously, not really a Foundations card. Ooh. Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much. I like the mini game that this comes with. High Fae Trickster. 3 and a blue for a 4/2 fairy wizard with flash, flying, and you may cast spells as though they had flash. So the thing about fairies is that they all have flash. They just have flash. All the best ones have flash already. Actually, I'm curious. How many fairies don't have flash? So there are 23 fairies with flash. There are tons more without, but I want to talk about playable cards. I guess you could look at this as a wizard, not a fairy. What I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this as a 2 toughness 4 mana card, which I'm not sold on. I just really want to play Spellstutter Sprite again. We've gotten some really good fairies. Brazen Borrower, Fairy Mastermind. The list can go on. Vendilion Clique. Not to mention, I mean, what I will say is that typically, if you're playing a card like this, typically the rest of your deck is also just going to have flash. Like, it's like they're going to be instants, right? Cool card for Commander, though. So this one I'm actually dope. I'm actually kind of high on. Lunar Insight. 2 and a blue for a sorcery. Draw a card for each different mana value among non-land permanents you control. I'm excited to try this out in the Beyond Academy decks or Impossible Academy decks for Gladiator. because this just reads as like 3 mana, draw 4, draw 5, or just 3. This card being 3 mana, draw 3 is a pretty common occurrence in an artifact deck, which is where I'd be excited to play this. Also, it's a Dan Scott deck with, it's a Dan Scott piece with moons. So it's a Ponder callback. And I was thinking about this for Highlander Academy too. Maybe not necessarily the Paradox Engine combos, but like 3 mana draw 3 in Highlander Academy decks is super easy to hit. And honestly, not that bad. Like, very easy for you to get a 0/1 and a 2. If you get more, then it's great. 3 mana draw 4. I'll take a meditate where I still get to take my turn. Yeah, why not? Sure, why not? Yeah. That said, I don't know. We have a lot of card draw already. And like, maybe we're just already maxed out on wheels. Maybe we just don't need another one that isn't always going to hit. That's the big thing, is that like, why would we skip out on consistency? We don't need to. Yeah. Mike Wazowski. 3 and a blue for a 2/2 homunculus. Whenever you... Homunculus is just a very funny word to me. Homunculus. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Not playable, but Mike Wazowski. This kind of makes me want to watch Monsters, Inc. Maybe it's been a long time since I've watched Monsters, Inc. It's got John Goodman in it. And Nathan Lane. I don't think it's very good. Archmage of Runes, 3 blue for a 3/6 giant wizard. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. This one, this is a card that is like the part of my brain that goes like, yeah, nothing will go wrong. Who's Nathan Lane in Monsters, Inc.? Doesn't he play Mike Wazowski? Who voices Mike Wazowski? No, is Mike Wazowski's Billy Crystal. Why did I think it was Nathan Lane? Finally, a gay Mike Wazowski. This is all I've wanted. It's Billy Crystal doing his incredibly racist impression. Yeah, I think I like this card. Hear me out. Hear me out. This is my hear me out. This card isn't a 5-drop, it's a 6-drop. Right? You play it with protection. And that protection replaces itself. Because if you ever get to untap with this card, you're winning the game. Drawing off of instants and sorceries just wins you the game. Especially because it's not your first. It's just whenever you cast it. And getting cheaper. Yeah, this card's messed up. God forbid, if we ever get Force of Negation or Force of Will, it's over. It's over. I'm protecting this bad boy. I'm going to try this card in in blue-white, and I'm going to try it in blue-red as well. Control and Gladiator. A bit too expensive for Highlander, but 6 toughness. That's a big booty. That is a big old booty. Resident Evil 4 is 50% off. Ooh, okay. The remake. Yeah, I think this card's pretty good. I think this card's good. This will be the one thing that, like, they got me. This is how you trick me into playing a card like this. Is you just give me a big booty that draws cards and makes my counterspells cheaper. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Banger alert. Time stop. 4 blue, instant, end the turn. Done. We're done. It's over. It's over. I would try Time Stop in some Gladiator decks. This is a reprint from Champions of Kamigawa. I could see this being played in, I think we have some untapped wilderness reclamation decks that I would like to see in Gladiator. There's a card coming up that I think would make for an interesting turns deck, which I mean is probably attached to the wilderness reclamation package. Not exclusively, but could show up. Against non-blue decks, this card is really annoying. Like you just catch people wasting their spells. And like this is a good teaching moment of like, hey, if you don't need to cast a pre-combat, you probably shouldn't. Probably shouldn't. It is very expensive, and I imagine that it's more cute than anything in those decks, but those decks really want redundancy, and we haven't had it. But this can help provide that. How close are we? You'll see in a bit. Aetherize, Micromancer. These are reprints that we already have. Wait, hold on. What are you? Also, I lied. I may have to do another preview stream tomorrow because my voice was already shot before this, and it's even more shot. Huh. It's a cephalid. 3-mana 2/2 when an ETB surveil 3 threshold can't be blocked. That's cute. I'm glad that they gave it threshold. A cephalid with threshold. That's cool. Not a good card, but that's cool. Who is this happy fella? I mean, I assume it's not the wizard getting carried away. I assume, look, I can't read Japanese, but this is 1 in a blue for a 2/1 with flying that does something else. So already I'm in. Wait, no, it's the guy? It is the guy. Mischievous Mystic. 1 in a blue for 1 in a blue for a human wizard with flying. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. That's so funny. Wait, this is... Okay, so there was a card in MH3 called Emrakul's Messenger. Where that was a 2/1 Eldrazi Fairy Rogue. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 0/1 spawn token. Okay, let's talk about the ups and downs between these two cards. Because this card is very good. The Messenger was very good. The positives for Mischievous Mystic is that it is blue, whereas this is devoid. And it sounds like I'm shit posting IRL, where I'm like, it's blue so you can pitch it to Force of Will. But the Flying Men decks are like pretty heavy on the free spells, right? Force of Will, Force of Negation, Subtlety. Some of them are on Misdirection as well. Like that Chromox, that's not nothing, right? That's not nothing. It also makes fairies. It's not a fairy itself, but it can make fairies. And like there is a version of Flying Men that is on Spellstutter Sprite and could potentially even be on Mistbind Clique if you're feeling nasty. And it makes more flyers. So the benefits of this card, the Emrakul's Messenger, is that it's a fairy by itself, which could be relevant. It's a rogue by itself, which could also be relevant, depending on the build or the whatever niche little cards you're adding. But the O1s that you get, being able to sack them to help cast creatures and still hold up counter spell mana, or cast your Winter Moon or your Winter Orb or whatever, was not nothing. There's a chance you just play both. But if you had to pick one, I think I'm picking the Mischievous Mystic. That's interesting. I genuinely thought it would be the fairies, but no, it is the guy. I'm glad. This is just me. This is just me. This is me when I'm older, and it's the the clique of baby gays carrying me to the next meet and greet. It's just they're going in the weekend. Yeah, this is come on, Ben. Wheeler, let's go to the Can Lantern meetup. Oh, please. To my grave. Imprisoned in the moon. Oh, uncommon. Big Kraken. Ooh, okay, hold on. Inspiration from Beyond. 2 and a blue for a sorcery. You mill 3 cards and return instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Flashback for 7. That's a steep flashback cost. But that is, we don't get a lot of these kind of cards. I guess we already have. We don't get a lot of them, but also you don't need too many. We have Regrowth on Arena. And we have Flood of Recollection. Okay. This doesn't exile, but we do have, ooh, you could chain them. Just repeatedly, just return Omniscience Loop. Wait a minute. Is this actually, does this make for an Omniscience Loop? Like, was there not another Regrowth card? Return. Timeless. Please hold. Oh yeah, Bala Ged Recovery. Okay. Okay, what do we have? Let me double check. Because Flood of Recollection exiles itself. Bala Ged Recovery Regrowth is a loop. But this is a blue one, and it mills, which means it loops, but also sets up a kill, right? If we have, okay, go with me on this journey. If we have Omniscience in play, and then we loop Inspiration from Beyond with Regrowth, because it's not just a Regrowth. It doesn't target, and you could just return something you've milled, right? So it is, in a way, a very specific, like, strategic planning style card. But if we loop this with Regrowth, we get to mill our library, and then the last one returns the Tendrils of Agony or whatever, and we kill them. Okay, niche, but I think this card's worth looking into if you're in an Omni combo deck. Ooh. Fey Bloom Trick. 2 and a blue for an instant. Create 2 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying. When you do, tap target creature and opponent controls. This is not a card that I believe will be playable, but it is an interesting one to point out. It's a card that is designed in a way that avoids feel bads. I was thinking about this kind of card where there are certain changes that feel as though they reduce player agency at the cost of ease of access and for learning moments. And I think that this card is maybe an okay version of it. Because instead of saying tap target creature, make 2 fairies, you flip it. So you make 2 fairies, and then when you do, you tap a creature. So there's like a trigger from this, or like you get to make the fairies and then tap something. So if they have like a flicker effect or a brave the elements or whatever, then you still get your fairies. So you instead like you get to eliminate the feel bads of just being like, oh, that's how that works? That sucks. But also, flavorfully, it feels more like the fairies are the ones doing the tapping, right? You make the fairies and then they go, ha ha ha. That's dope. I like that a lot. So yeah, there are certain spots where it's this where there's templating changes that make folks less susceptible to getting blown out, where I'm like on, but this one I really like because it also just fits the design of the card. Like it makes the card feel more like a story. Arcane Epiphany. I'll do anything to cast a Jace's Ingenuity. But this is never mind. Oh yeah, that's that good. Is this card already? I think Think Twice is already on Arena. Can I give you my I don't even know if it's not really controversial. Yeah, this card's already on Arena. But I'll use this as an opportunity anytime I get. I typically prefer the original art for cards. This is one of the few cards where I'm just like, no, this is better. This is just better. This art just clears the weird Tolarian, like, oh, my books. This is just so much better. Either I know just the spell I need or I'm about to. Damn. Oh, this kind of interesting. Refute. 1 blue instant counter target spell, draw a card, then discard a card. I think that we have hit peak 3-mana counterspell in mono blue through 3 steps ahead. So I'm not too sure on this one, but you know. It's kind of cool. Kind of a neat budget option. It's not a bad card. It's not a bad cancel at all. I think if you really want more hard counters, that's not a bad one to have. Banger of a name, by the way. Tycho the Patient Avalanche. 3 and a blue for a 4/5 legendary turtle ninja. Tycho enters tapped. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it didn't die, scry 1 and put a 1/1 counter on Tycho. Whenever Tycho attacks, you may pay hybrid blue-black. When you do, target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. Dope. Oh yeah, this is from the Jumpstart, Foundation's Jumpstart. So legal on Arena, but not in Standard. But also, that's not entirely relevant to what we're talking about. It's going to be on Arena. Very cool build around. Not really an Arena playable card, although this ability is kind of cracked. Really cool Ninja Commander. I like it when they have Elizabeth Rice talked about this on the Shivan Wheeler live magic that we did. She was our guest when we talked about Bloomborough Commander, and she was talking about the Squirrel Commander deck and how when you are making a card that when you are trying to design a card that is for a very specific like type or style of card where there is direct, obvious competition, right? Like the elephant in the room for the squirrel deck is Chatterfang. And it's like, do we try to build against Chatterfang? Or do we try to just say like, Chatterfang is Chatterfang. Let's try to guide people in a different direction. And with ninjas in Commander, especially, like you have Satoru and you have Yuriko, right? And they both kind of do similar things. And they also play, but in a very weird way, where like the non-ninjas they play are like Eldrazi and like Blightsteel and stuff. But this is a pretty neat blue-black ninja commander that is going to like, this is something that you could be like, I want to play ninjas, but I want to take it a different way. I want to focus on a different sneaky-ish kind of build. And I like that. I like that quite a lot. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. Puljamar Illusionist. 2 blue for a 4/5 legendary legendary creature, human illusion wizard. Flying. When Puljamar Illusionist enters, choose a creature type. Draw a card for each creature you control of that type. Cool. Is this like a weird is this Tashana? This is Tashana, right? Kinda. Oh, Tashana casts Collective Unconscious. Cool. You can't really natural order into it, but cool. Near-div Devious Diver. Oh, delightfully. No, that's devilish. God, you can tell I'm a bit of a tired mom with the soft serve. Hold on. Let me get my, speaking of which, let me order dinner because I did not realize how late it was. 2 and a blue. Oh. Hold on. Oh, there is none of that. Ew. Two and a blue for a 2/2 legendary Merfolk Rogue. Whenever near div Devious Diver becomes tapped, target player mills cards equal to its power. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard or activate an ability of a card in your graveyard, draw a card and put a 1/1 counter on near div. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. That does that whenever. This is a cool build around commander. Very weird. Very niche. Target player mills, and you kind of want to mill yourself. Huh. Cool. I can't think of any competitive application for this, but very cool. Oh, Venser. Thrix? Jesus. Oh my god, they've made... I didn't know Sir Eleonora was in Genshin Impact. Let me look at the Sir Eleonora. Did I see Carmen shout us out during the Magic stream? I did. We watched it. Very, I mean, Carmen was also in chat. Very dope. Very cool. Very us. Draw a card for each different... Oh, this is a Modern Horizons card. Sudden Insight? I'm pretty sure Sudden Insight is 6 mana instant. Draw a card for each different mana value among non-land cards in your graveyard. I'm pretty sure this is... No, it was an AFR card. Oh, there's one... What's the one I'm thinking of? There's a Modern Horizons card that does something similar to this. Ooh. Not what I wanted, but... Phantasmal Shieldback. 1 blue for a 1/3 Turtle Illusion. When Phantasmal Shieldback becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. When Phantasmal Shieldback dies, draw a card. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Is this card playable in blue-white control? Is this card playable in Blue Moon? It's a 1-mana card that replaces itself and is really annoying to attack into. Like, it kind of has like a hard evidence kind of build. It does block Ragavan. Not to mention the ability can be like, this is kind of awkward, right? For certain cards that, like certain removal spells or a bit like what's like a Teferi minus, right? Like they don't get to draw the card or whatever. Interesting. I may play this card more than I expected. I may play this card more than I expected. Yeah, I'll give this card a shot. It replaces itself. Ooh, delightful discovery. See more. 4 and a blue for an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each spell your opponents have cast this turn. Scry 2, then draw 2. I do like a Glimmer of Genius. No, I don't think this card's good enough. It's too expensive. Oh no! Wait, chat, quick. What's the shortcut? What's the shortcut? Control shit. What was it? Please help. Control Shift T. It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. I mean, it's literally just this. We got there. We got there, says man that just have to open the browser. I did. I mean, Ninja of the Deep Hours was already here, but I like that. I really love this stupid crab. I don't think it's good, but I love it. 2 and a blue for a 1/3 artifact creature crab. Gilded Scuttler can't be blocked. When Gilded Scuttler enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Attention, beachgoers! This is a litter-free zone. Violators will be pinched. It's goofy, but I really like it. It's pretty cute. Also, Gilded Scuttler is great. Uncomfortable chill. Me when I mix edibles. Drag Under, Fairy Seal. Sphinx's Tutelage. We didn't have that, but also not super relevant for us. What is relevant? Temporal Manipulation. 3 blue for a sorcery. Take an extra turn after this one. This is another Time Warp. If you are a deck that is playing Time Warp previously, you get a second one. If you are a deck that wasn't playing Time Warp, or that you weren't playing the deck because you're like, well, there's only Time Warp. There's only Time Warp and Nexus of Fate. Yeah, here's another Time Warp that doesn't exile itself. Is Archaeomancer legal in Pioneer? Archaeomancer's on Arena. I play this game for a living and I still can't remember whether or not... No, Archaeomancer is not on Arena. But it is legal in Pioneer, which means that we will be getting Archaeomancer eventually. Yeah, we have Alrund's Epiphany. I'm talking about extra turn cards that don't exile themselves. Pinnacle Monk. Yes, we have Pinnacle Monk. Do we have Mnemonic Wall? I feel like we have Mnemonic Wall. Timeless Witness. I mean, we have Timeless Witness, Nashi. Timeless Witness, Nashi, Nantuko. I'm pretty sure there's another arena-only one. Yes, I know you can't get Nexus of Fate back, but notice how I said not exile, so I can still solve the equation loop. I'm being very punchy. Yeah, Cyber Siphoner, that's the one. Capture Jungjo, right? That's... I think it's Zhengzhou. Why am I trying to pronounce this? Now is not the time, Ben. What? Pronounce?
Jinzhou.
That's not right. There's no way. This guy said Jinzhou. Oh, I mean, somewhere I have a document for pronunciation. I did a whole stream on P3K, Shivam. And I was told that my pronunciation was pretty good. You know, for a white guy. Classic white Latino pronunciation. Shaking my head. Flash freeze is brutal. I'm so excited to get to play with this card. Holy. It's probably not going to be that good. But, well, it does find Nexus of Fate. Mystical Teachings. 3 and a blue for an instant. Search your library for an instant or card with flash. Reveal it, put into your hand, shuffle. Flashback. 5 and a black. We don't have the card. We don't have the actual factual card flash. We do have Tainted Pact for your Thassa's Oracle, which is going to be relevant for this card. Absolutely relevant for this card. We don't have Ancestral Recall. So there's some busted stuff that this can set up. I don't know how good the fair Mystical Teachings is going to be in Gladiator, and especially in 2024 Gladiator. But I imagine the combo decks are going to play this card. I can't believe, I mean, this is wild to me, is that black, white, and blue, like black and blue especially, Flash Freeze and Deathmark, gross. Devout Decree, also pretty good, right? Exiling the creature or planeswalker and scrying one. And then red gets Mind Sparker and green gets Mold Adder. Mold Adder, I think, was only in M10. And Mind Sparker got... like, this card's just not good at all. Very, very funny. Very funny. Very odd. Okay. I probably have enough vocal capacity to get through black. So let's do that. Liliana. Already been printed. It's already on Arena. Great. Bloodthirsty Conqueror. 3 black for a 5/5 Vampire Knight with flying and death touch. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. This is kind of an interesting thing to play. I mean, it's no Vein Ripper, but it is a big donkey vampire to put in off of your Sorin. But also, it's whatchamacallit? It combos with the Enduring Snake. The black Glimmer. I think we might have enough cards to play A+ black in Gladiator. For those that don't know, there's a Canadian Highlander deck called A+ black, where it's basically every A+B combo with like a Reanimator or a Storm Shell or both in Canlander. And while we don't have, well, we do have Dark Ritual and Tendrils. Being a deck that just plays a bunch of synergy pieces or combo setups is kind of interesting. We have Veto, we have Exquisite Blood, I'm pretty sure we have Sanguine Bond, we have that other card that makes more Sanguine Bonds. Like I could see a like mono black playing a bunch of tutors, playing a bunch of like Damnation to keep you alive and hand attack and card draw. Like you're a mono black control deck, but your kill condition is with these combos. I could see that being a thing. Not sure that this is going to be worthy of playing Canadian Highlander, but I could see that being a thing. High Society Hunter, 5 mana, 5/3 Vampire Knight with flying. Whenever this creature attacks, you can sack another creature. And if you do, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Whenever another non-token creature dies, draw a card. This is a 5 mana card with 3 toughness and no ETB. What? Where's my Dark Souls mode? I'm sure it's nothing. Tiny Bones Bauble Burglar. 1 and a black for a 1/3 legendary skeleton rogue. Whenever an opponent discards a card, exile it from their graveyard with a stash counter on it. During your turn, you may play cards you don't own with stash counters on them from exile, and spend mana of any type, and mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. 3 and a black, tap. Each opponent discards a card, used only as a source free. We do not have like a Waste Not or an 8-rack style deck in the format. So I would not recommend this. If you want something with repeatable discard that can also provide additional recurring value, you can play the Raven Man, which is probably just a better card to play. That makes birds. Those birds attack. I mean, this card can set up some pretty busted turns, but I'm just like, it's just so narrow. I'm not super excited to play this. I feel like I'm going to lose to this card, but I just don't think it's a reasonable competitive option, nor do I think it's a reasonable, I'm going to play this and go X1 with it, you know? Zul Ashur Lich Lord. 1 and a black for a 2/2 legendary zombie warlock with ward, pay 2 life, and tap. You may cast target zombie creature from your graveyard this turn. Love it. This is great. This is a pretty incredible zombie card. The word pay 2 life is kind of weird because it's like, okay, sure, I guess. What I'm most excited about is it's a 2-drop zombie that is good. Zombies as an archetype in Highlander is something that I've been kind of experimenting with for a couple of years now. And one thing that it's always struggled with is its density of 3-drops. Ton of 3-drops, not enough 2-drops that are worthwhile. This is a very good 2-drop. Just being able to cast more stuff from your graveyard. No finality counters to be found. Great. Love it. Yeah, that's it. Just lets you set up. It's a 2-drop that lets you replay some of your 2s so you get some more longevity out of those cards. Or your 1s, right? There are a bunch of 1-drops, 1-drop zombies that are pretty good. And so being able to rebuy your Carrion Feeder or your even like a Shambling Gas kind of card, it's pretty nice. No, there isn't any weird sequencing thing that you can do with that. Unless you like have something where you can copy abilities or whatever. Phyrexian Arena, we already have it, but very cool that it's going to be in standard for 5 years. 9 Lives Familiar. 1 black for a 1/1 cat. This creature enters with 8 revival counters on it if you cast it. When this creature dies, if it had a revival counter on it, return to the battlefield with 1 fewer revival counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. It's a 3 mana 1/1, but you can just keep sacrificing it. And that's kind of neat. I don't think it's worthwhile playing because it's a 3 mana 1/1. But it is very annoying and provides a lot of it's a repeatable body for a sack outlet. It also blocks pretty well. Slow isn't the issue, or at least I don't think it's the issue. Salami Superstar. Aristocrats is already used to going slow. It's just, do we need this when like there are other cards that like how? Realistically, this thing dying 9 times, I guess, like pretty good, pretty cool. But in your average game of Magic with an Aristocrats deck, how much different is that than something like the 2-mana 1/1 that when it dies you make 2/1/1s? That's also in this set, right? I feel like there are just other cards that make multiple bodies on Death or on ETB that you are already playing that you're going to be like, yeah, that's good enough. Not to mention those are bodies that often you can bring back off of an Unearth or a Helping Hand or cast off a Lurrus. Whereas this card, if you somehow get it into play other than casting, doesn't have the counters, it doesn't have the revival counters on it, you know, to avoid looping like infinite shenanigans or whatever. So it's a powerful effect. And I can look past the 3-mana 1/1 part of it, but I just don't think we need it, you know? It's just really unnecessary, is what I'm going to say. Cute card, though. Arbiter of Woe. I believe this is a new card. Let me double check. I think it is. This isn't the one from... There was a card similar to this in one of the older core sets, like M19 or something. Oh no, that was that had a name that related to Gormond or something. 4 black for a 5/4 demon. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sack a creature. Oh, it's a 5/4. I said 5/4. Gormand, yeah, well, that's the one. It's a flying creature. When this creature enters, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. You draw a card and gain 2 life. Okay, never mind. I'm off it. I was thinking like this is not the worst thing to reanimate or also just cast on 6. But then all the good reanimation targets that we've received, like Valgavoth and whatnot, went flashing through my head. And then even though I read 5/4, I didn't connect like, oh, this just dies to everything in Gladiator. So kind of off it. This is a pretty good Mind Rot as far as Mind Rots go. Seeker's Folly, 2 and a black sorcery. Choose one. Target opponent discards 2 cards, or creatures your opponent's control get -1/-1. I could see this if your mono black control deck wants a Mind Rot and you don't want to play. It's not Blot Out, is it? What's the name? Go Blank. It's not Go Blank. Or sorry, if you want to play another one in addition to Go Blank, or you want to play something other than Go Blank, this one's not that bad. This is a pretty good modal effect. But then you have to also just be in this very specific archetype that wants this very specific type of card, and then wants to go, well, what if I played the other one? Oh, that's cute. Tragic Slip. Also, Tragic Banshee, it tragic slips, but it also just feels like this isn't doing too much to get there. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Banshees are creations of tragedy in a way. I'll take it. So stoked for Zombify. Zombify is just so clean. 4 mana, sorcery, return a creature from the graveyard to play. Great. Play this in Reanimator decks. Yeah, it's great. In black, too. No late to dinner or whatever. Yeah, play this card. What's this Foundations thing? Foundations is effectively a core set. It's a half reprint, half new card that is going to be legal and standard for 5 years, I believe, until 2029. I guess for, a little over 5 years. And it's coming to Arena, legal in Gladiator, legal in Canadian Highlander, and there's an accompanying Jumpstart set that is also going to be on Arena and legal in Gladiator and legal in Cantlighter with some very cool cards. A Chaque Fois. I don't know why I did this. Chaque fois que cette creature attaque, vous pouvez sacrifier une autre creature. Whenever the creature attacks, you can sacrifice another creature. If you do... I don't know this word. I don't know. Let's find out together. Vampire Gourmand. 1 and a black for a 2/2 vampire. Whenever this creature attacks, you can sack another creature. If you do, draw a card, and this creature can't be blocked this turn. Draw. How did I not know what draw a card was in French? I guess I could have figured it out because it says une carte. My accent is terrible right now. Terrible. Why is City Pop so good? There was so much money. That's the real answer. They had a lot of money, and the equipment was great. I could playing this card in Vampires. I could see playing this card in Vampires. Don't think I'd play this anywhere outside of Vampires, but as far as Vampires go, not bad. Midnight Snack. 2 and a black for an enchantment with Raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack to create a food token, pay 2 and a black, sacrifice this enchantment. Target opponent loses X life, or X is the amount of life you gain this turn. I like that. You're raiding the pantry. I don't think this card's that good, but flavorful. Get it? Flavor, it's food. Pretty good. Pretty on point. Honestly, one of my favorite cards in the set. It's very straightforward, but I'm just really aristocrat pilled right now. I don't know why. Vengeful Blood Witch. 1 and a black for a 1/1 vampire warlock. Whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Love it. It's a Blood Artist. Play it in your other Blood Artist decks. It's a 2-mana Blood Artist. And it triggers off of itself. Wow. I am going to replay Aristocrats on North 100 Showdown, that's for sure. On to Jumpstart. Ophelia Viper Whisperer. 1 and a black for a 1/3 legendary creature Gorgon Assassin with Death Touch. And whenever Ophelia attacks, you may pay 1 and hybrid black-green. If you do, create a 1/1 black snake creature token with Death Touch. 4 and a black. Until end of turn, whenever 1 or more Gorgons and or snakes you control deal combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life rounded up. Cool build around commander. This is one of those ones where I wish it wasn't anime, because I am not getting the Gorgon vibes, like, at all. I don't think this art style does this card any justice. That's it. Very cool card. Very cool build around. Wish there was different art. And is the kind of thing that would, get me to not play the card. This is something I've been waiting for years. Dark Confidant, baby. Dark Confidant. 1 and a black for a 2/1 human wizard. It's very funny that I'm saying this out loud. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. Yeah, this artwork fucking rocks. Great artwork. Incredible magic card. Yeah, it's Bob. It's, I guess, Roberta. Or it could be Bobby. Yeah, you should play this card. It's great. It's very good. It's very good. Could even just be Bob. I think Bob is a beautiful name for a girl. Honestly, yeah, Bob's not that bad of a name. I think Bob could be gender neutral. Just B-O-B. Simple. Yeah, this art rules. This art rules. I may have to get a... Wait, no, this is Jumpstart. They don't come in foil. No! Wait, do they come in foil? Does anybody know if Jumpstart is going to come in foil? Or is it all... It's all non-foil? Can I get a foil German one of this card? No! All right. Well... Collector's packs. Ooh. This is another card that doesn't really gain much from the artwork. Very, very, very generic face. Very, look at this. Evereth, Viceroy of Plunder. 2 and a black for a 2/2 legendary vampire soldier with flying. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Hello?
It's gonna be really funny when they call and be like, the food is here.
It's not, I mean, it's going to be like 10 minutes. Don't worry. Yeah. 2 and a black for a 2/2 flying vampire soldier legend. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter on Evereth. If the sacrifice permanent was a treasure, Evereth gains lifelink until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. When Evereth dies, you can pay 1 and then a hybrid Rakdos. When you do, Evereth deals damage equal to its power to each creature or each opponent. I think I'm going to be playing this card in some Aristocrats decks. I might try it, or certainly a Vampires deck. It's a sack outlet, albeit 1 at sorcery speed, but it permanently makes your flyer bigger. Not to mention, there are creatures that when they die, they make treasure tokens, or just there is treasure generation in Aristocrats. Yeah, there's just treasure generation in Aristocrats. Also, this thing just can, this is just going to one-shot people, right? Throw in 2 sack outlets and then they're dead. They're just dead. Pretty good. Pretty good. Shame about the art. Ooh. Fumulus the Infestation. 3 and a black for a 2/2. Legendary creature vampire insect. Dope creature type. Flying, death touch, and whenever a player sacrifices a non-token creature, create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. Whenever an insect, leech, slug, or worm you control attacks, defending player loses 1 and you gain 1. Not playable in the formats we're talking about, but vampire insect, leech, slug, worm, hell yeah. Again, set it up at the top with the ninja, but I think it's also very relevant for this kind of card, where I'm glad that the jumpstart sets, the big jumpstart sets, give them an opportunity to print niche commanders for stuff like this, you know? Like, I talk a lot about how I don't like it when you have a commander that tells you exactly what it's supposed to do. Although I'm willing to recognize that that is an important thing for newer players or players that don't have whatever turbocharged autism I have is, right? But I do like it when it's very specifically telling you what to do. When that thing is something that is so like, huh? Right? When it's a card that makes you, or even a newer player, go like, oh, I didn't know there were leeches in Magic. And then they find their way onto Gatherer, Scryfall, and they look at all the leeches in Magic. They're like, whoa, there are 20 leeches in Magic? That's kind of cool. Right? It helps you. It says like, look, we know you might just be here for the insects, but what if we put all the thematic tie-ins, right? What if we swarm yard this? And that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, exactly. If you tell me what to do, it better be something cool. And then it's this, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got me. Ooh, Gore-Tex. The Tomb Shell. This is a reprint. I don't think Gore-Tex was on Arena before. 6 black for a 4/4. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you can exile any number of creature cards from your graveyard, and the spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. It's a legendary zombie turtle with Death Touch, and whenever Gore-Tex attacks or dies, you choose a card at random, exile with Gore-Tex, and put into your hand. I'd play this card in the Bone Zone. We just played Sultai Bone Zone, and it was pretty good. Yeah, I'd try this out in Bone Zone. It can be a little counterintuitive, but I'd give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. Isareth the Awakener. This is a reprint already on Arena. I am surprised that that we have Japanese art with an actual fat character. Typically anime and manga is infamously fat phobic, and also if they're not fat phobic, they sure are fetishistic. But I love my thick, gothic, curvy wife. This card's dope. This card's dope. It's a little outclassed, but it's a really fun card to play. Rev Shinza. Also, I like that she has the Gorging Vulture on her hand. Rev Tithe Extractor. This is just a League of Legends character. 3 and a black for a 3/3 legendary human rogue. Whenever you attack, target creature gains Death Touch until end of turn. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, then look at the top card of that player's library, exile it face down. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. Ooh. This is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about this. My mind says no, because it has 3 toughness, technically no ETB. But this can start drawing cards and making treasure pretty quickly. Thick thighs, tiny hands. This is just a Shadowverse character. Holy shit. Wait, what? No, yeah, this is just a Shadowverse character. There's literally a character in Shadowverse that looks exactly like this. I can't remember her name. But, interesting. Anyways, yeah, probably not playable. Moving on. I really love this Eternal Taskmaster artwork. This is a reprint. The original one was on War of the Spark, and it had like an eternalized zombie. But now it's just like, I don't know, it's just an overworked zombie. It's kind of dope. Nazar the Velvet Fang. Great name. Ooh, Brothers Yamazaki. 3 and a black for a 3/3 vampire warlock with menace. Legendary vampire warlock with menace. And whenever you gain life, put a feeding counter on Nazar. Whenever Nazar attacks, you may remove 3 feeding counters from it. If you do, draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. So not playable for our format, but very cool card. Very cool, like very easy to get this to just be when it attacks, draw 3, lose 3 every single time. I like that it casts Ancient Craving or Ambition's Cost, depending on where you're going. I'm going from Ancient Craving's the original, so we'll go with that one. Ozox the Clattering King. 2 and a black for a 3/2 Skeleton Noble. Ozox can't block. When Ozox dies, create Jumble Bones, a legendary 2/1 black skeleton creature token with this creature can't block, and when this creature leaves the battlefield, return target card named Ozox to your graveyard to your hand. Not really competitively viable, but a very cute, funny card to have. Also, Jumble Bones. I would like to see the Jumble Bones token if they have one. Please and thank you. Jumpstart does not have tokens? No. Fuck. Come on. But what about my Jumble Bones? Priest of Gix. Ooh. 2 and a black, 2/1. Look at all these creature types. Phyrexian Human Cleric Minion. When it ETBs, add 3 black. There's probably some combo kill with this card. It's very easy for this card to combo off. We have Heartless Summoning, don't we? Why do I think we have Heartless Summoning? We don't. All right, well, we'll figure it out later. Oh, we have Chthonian Nightmare. Why am I clapping like a seal? We have Chthonian Nightmare. Yeah, you can Chthonian Nightmare with this card. Ooh, there was that Chthonian Nightmare combo deck that the Rowan Storm deck. This is a good ad for that. Huh? Cat's catting. Serpent Assassin, dope reprint, by the way. 3 black for a 2/2 Snake Assassin. When it ETBs, you can destroy a target non-black creature. Probably not worth it. We don't have a Necrotol yet. We have Chupacabra, but wait, right? We don't have Necrotol? Hi, loud lady. Would you like to say hi to chat? Chat hasn't seen you for 2 weeks. Come here. Come here. Come here, baby. Oh, she's getting so light. She's so old. Yeah. Yeah. Your breath smells like cat food. Who's that? Why do you smell like chicken nuggets? Okay, goodbye. Well, now you're stuck on me. Yeah? Oh, she's coming back. Yeah, you missed me. I missed you too, baby. Wriggling Grub. 1 and a black for a 1/1 worm. When Wriggling Grub dies, create 2 1/1 black and green worm creature tokens. This card's great. This card's absurd. It's going to be a slam dunk in Aristocrat stacks no matter the format. Yeah. This is like a Canlander standout for me. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Shambling Gas reprint. Ooh, Skymarch Bloodletter reprint. Yes, I hear you. Yeah. Looking for cards that are good, that are new. Not there. We already have Grim Tutor on Arena as well. And I think we already had Demonic Pact. Deathmark is new. Sideboard card. But, you know, who knows? If green or white is good, you might be playing it in the main. Okay. I think that's it for me today. For the sake of my voice and the fact that my food just arrived. I'm going to call it there. We got a good 4.5 hour stream. For those wondering, the VOD is going to be broken up into 2 parts because I wanted to keep we talked about MagicCon Vegas for like 2 hours. And so I wanted to not just have the like set review and then the first 2 hours is like, hey, look at my German card, is a foil and an Oath of Druids. But don't worry, I'm going to be streaming again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to cover any cards that we missed. What was that? I'm going to be covering any card that we missed or new cards that got uploaded. I'm going to be trying to get through red and green so that on Thursday before the PPR, we can do the cap off of everything. And tomorrow I should have time to play some Vintage Cube as well because I'm cube hungry right now. I'm also food hungry. So I'm going to call it there. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for tuning in. There's a YouTube, I got a Patreon, and there's a Discord. There's also a PPR on Friday, and you can find more of that information in the Discord. Let me drop you kids off somewhere. Let me drop you kids off somewhere. Let me drop you kids off somewhere. Oh, Caleb Durward is streaming Vintage Cube, so go watch that. And Gideon Jura's back in the vintage cube? Oh, it's all over. It's all over. You're looking at the new trophy leader. If Gideon Jura's in it, woo. Okay. I'll see you next time. Bye.